My client's in the bathroom with the door locked, needing a minute for herself, needing a minute to cry alone. Or she's driving home with a sense of dread. Work feels easier, work feels more fulfilling. She feels like she's going through the motions, like she's not present, like she's watching her life, these milestones go by from a bird's eye view. And this is something she doesn't want to have sex. She doesn't care if she ever has sex again. She feels like roommates in her relationship. And after she's worked so hard, she's checked so many boxes, she's asking herself, is this it? Now, I want to name for you what this is, because it might look like low libido, might look like hypoactive sexual desire disorder. Maybe we're going to call it perimenopause or menopause, a hormone problem. But the part that no one is talking about, that no one has identified, is anhedonia, an inability to feel pleasure and joy, not being as happy as you used to. So I want you to consider something. If you were the 1 in 2 women globally, which I think is underreported, but if you're the 1 in 2 women globally that has been told you have low desire, pain with sex, sexual dysfunction, I want you to consider something. Maybe your body is working perfectly. Maybe your body's doing exactly what it is designed to do. And we have a medical system that's failing you. We have a system of therapy that's failing you. And this is where we unpack the truth. I'm Dr. Jordan Wiggins, naturopathic doctor, pleasure and intimacy strategist, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. This episode is a reintroduction. Okay, the show is changing a bit. Because I don't know about you, but me, my clients, my friends were experiencing this shedding, this inability to deny truths that we'd been able to keep buried. Okay, there's more women filing for separations. There's more women literally saying, I can't live like this. I cannot deal with the overwhelm of what is going on in the world and do all the work that I do for work and all the work that I do at home and all the overgiving and people pleasing. So the time is now for a deeper layer of truth and a deeper accountability for us taking action. For years, I have taught women to come back to their bodies, to heal their relationship with pleasure through nervous system regulation, through pelvic floor exercises, through regulating hormones, working on our pleasure beliefs and pleasure practices. All of it real, all of it useful. But I kept watching the same pattern. The women that I work with, the high achievers, the overgivers, the people pleasers, they would do the work. They would regulate their nervous system. They would balance their hormones. They would eat clean. And then something would happen. They would have a parent get sick. It would be the pandemic. And then she was pivoting her business and figuring out homeschooling. And it would all go to hell. Okay, then they were overwhelmed, overfunctioning again. They were still not wanting the sex they were having. Okay, and medically, we could consider this maybe hypoactive sexual desire disorder. But what I realized is we were treating women, diagnosing women for a problem that a system created, and then we were blaming them for it. Okay, our sexual dysfunction is the pink canary. If you have not read my first book, I suggest you read it. Okay, that's the early warning signal. But what I've realized through helping hundreds of women reconnect their relationships and heal their shame and relationship with their sexuality, and now starting to help more and more women separate and rebuild pleasure-centered lives or start dating in a pleasure-centered manner. So I've been doing this long enough that to see these cycles through. Okay, so our low libido and our desire, it's not the actual problem. Okay, this is why I'm writing a sequel to The Pink Canary. And if you want to get that information, you're going to want to be listening here and you're going to want to be subscribed to the Pleasure Path Substack. I will put the link in the show notes. So the actual problem is that our entire lives are organized around serving others. So we are high achievers. We need to learn to become receivers. And we need to acknowledge that this was by design. We need to acknowledge the relational system, the cultural system, the societal systems that benefit from us being this way. Okay. And that's why do this meditation or manifestation or just go for a girls' night, just relax. All of the advice that we give high achievers, it doesn't work or it doesn't work for long because I've learned that I had part of the equation right, which was we need to heal our relationships with pleasure and we need to learn to center our own pleasure. And we have to have the tools and the skills for how do we protect that in a world and a society and a workforce and gender roles that are constantly trying to extract from us. Because if we can be in touch with our pleasure, but only when things are going well, or only have access to our desire when things are going well, that's not really true pleasure. And this is our next step. Okay, so we're expanding. We're expanding from just our relationship with pleasure to the systems that created it and how we protect it. I am not interested in helping you tolerate a life that is not pleasure-centered. I'm not interested in helping you, let's do nervous system regulation in a relationship where you are not safe. That's bullshit. Or let's do hormone replacement therapy so that you can tolerate more. Tolerate people piling on you more and overgiving more. Okay. Not here for it. Definitely a fan of hormone replacement therapy. Prescribing it all the time for my patients. But it's a piece. It's a piece to the greater puzzle, and we're here to learn that. I'm interested in helping you build pleasure-centered lives and relationships. Okay, I'm going to walk you through the advice we get when we have low desire or we're not feeling like ourselves. Have you tried therapy? Maybe you need medication. Have you tried a pelvic floor physio? That fixed it for my friend. Maybe HRT will help. Because every grifting mompreneur without a medical license is singing the praises of hormone replacement therapy at the moment. Buy lingerie, have a glass of wine, just relax, do it tomorrow, schedule it, put it on the calendar, take a vacation. And while some of these suggestions do have merit and benefit, when they don't work because they don't fix the whole problem, you are left with shame. You are left feeling broken. You are left feeling like there's something wrong with you. And sometimes we reach for a diagnosis like, oh, it has to be my hormones. Or maybe I have hypoactive sexual desire disorder. Okay. It's something outside of you, like a diagnosis is outside of you that needs fixing. But the issue is, we diagnose HSDD without context. We are pathologizing a perfectly intact nervous system response, threat response, overwhelm response in a woman's body. Okay? No one is asking that woman. I'm going to get to the questions that we should be asking, that every clinician should be asking and is missing. Women's bodies are the smartest, most attuned, beautiful things on the planet. So when a client is coming to me with hypoactive sexual desire disorder, I'm not looking at her body is the problem, or she needs medication, or she needs hormones as the root of it. Your body is gathering evidence. Hormones are a lag indicator. So, what are the questions that we should be asking? Okay, and these are the questions that I have on my intake form for my naturopathic patients for the last 10 years. And these are the questions that we need to be asking, and clinicians miss, therapists miss. Do you like the sex you are having? Okay, most women have never been asked this question by a clinician, and I want you to sit in that. And I know from working with women for the last 10 years and the thousands of women that I've connected with online, a lot of them are having the he rolls over and pokes you with his erection at 10 p.m. at night sex. Okay, they want the flirting, the connection, the passion, and they're getting masturbate with like their partner is masturbating with their vagina. Okay, and it's not about how many times a week did you do it. It's about, do you like it? Did sex feel good before the hormone changes happen? Do you orgasm? Did you orgasm? Okay. And does your partner orgasm? The orgasm gap is so telling. So in heterosexual relationships, men are finishing 95, 97% of the time. In women, it's around 60%. And in my experience, that is a generous estimate. It is far lower in many studies. So we are diagnosing women with a desire disorder when she is not getting fulfillment. A lot of times in my groups, when I talk about multiple orgasms, they're shocked. Like, they thought one was the best. I'm like, one pisses me off. Like, why am I even having sex for one? Okay, so we want to ask her, is she enjoying the sex that she's having? Is she orgasming? Did she ever used to enjoy the sex that she was having? We definitely want to ask about stress levels, mental load, emotional regulation, who's doing the repair in the relationship. And another question that we have to ask is, what happens if you say no? Okay. Does he go cold and not speak to you for 3 days? Does he pick a fight? Is he mean to you and the kids? Does he threaten to cheat on you? If saying no costs you, so it's easier to just do it, this is coercion. This is one of the biggest things that is missed in hypoactive sexual desire disorder diagnoses and sexual dysfunction diagnoses, pelvic pain diagnoses. Okay. To have amazing sex, full body orgasms, you need to be able to say a full fuck yes, let's do this, and a no. And your yes and your no needs to be respected. Okay. If you don't feel like no is an option because how he will behave after the fact, that is sexual coercion, and it is going to put the brake on anyone's desire. It's how your body works. So these are clinical questions. These need to be part of the medical decision making. Okay. If your physicians, clinicians, therapists are not asking the questions about coercion, and this is so insidious. Sometimes men don't even know that they are doing this, okay? However, they're doing it because it benefits them. It gets them what they want at the expense of you and your body. Sometimes when you point it out to them, they're just like, ooh, like, I don't want that. I want sex to be pleasurable for you. And it's like, yes, let's go. Let's do this. This is two people willing to work on it. Sometimes when you bring that up, they treat you worse. Okay, that's coercive control, that is abuse. And you would be surprised at how many men use these tactics in relationship, okay? Because they see sex as their marital right. And of course, your body is shutting down in these situations. But if we had pleasure-centered sex in relationships, it would be totally different. And I'm going to teach you how to build that. And I want you to sit with this for a minute because I guarantee you so many of you are feeling this and you either haven't had the words or you're ashamed, but let this land. Okay, this is what I hear every day from accomplished women. I have sex so he doesn't go cold for days. I have sex so he doesn't yell at the kids. I have sex so he doesn't punch holes in the walls. I have sex to prove that I love him. I have sex so the kids won't hear us fight again. I have sex so he won't cheat. I have sex so he won't be angry. I have sex because if I don't, the next 2 days are unbearable. I have sex because he says he's stressed and this is how he releases it. I have sex and I wait for it to be over. So I'm going to label this plainly. This is not HSDD. This is not low libido. This is not a desire issue. This is not an arousal issue. This is sexual coercion, and it is present in the majority of most heterosexual relationships. Okay? Most heterosexual couples are lying somewhere on this spectrum. And not all is lost. So the truth is going to hurt, but it is going to set you free. So when a woman in this situation, she says she has low libido, she's lost her desire, she doesn't know what's wrong with her, she doesn't care if she has sex ever again. Okay, the desire is not lost. It is in there. But your body is refusing to participate in something that is costing you, something that is pressure, something that gives very little in return. You cannot build a pleasure-centered relationship on coercion. You cannot build it on performing arousal. That's a survival arrangement. Okay, and I want you to zoom out and I want you to hear this, okay? The reason this happens at scale is not because each individual man is a villain. Okay, there are a lot of men that are controlling and abusive and fucking terrible. And if you have not paid attention to world events, to websites designed for how to drug and rape your wives and girlfriends, for communities of people that are trafficking women. Okay, let's just not deny the reality of these situations. But we have educated entire generations of men and women into male-centered sex as the script, as the holy grail. Okay, and I touch on this in the Pink Canary. When we look at sex as penis and vagina, the way that men find sex most pleasurable is penetration. Only 1/3 of women orgasm this way. So you are not broken. The script is. Sex is over when he finishes. Okay, that orgasm gap. If he is pleased, feels the release, etc., and you are just watching the clock, waiting to get it over with, that's extractive. It's a losing proposition. Okay, when your pleasure is optional, but your performance is mandatory, we have a fucking problem. When you are responsible for his arousal, his stress regulation, his self-esteem, and his fidelity, for his orgasm, but he's not responsible for yours, we have a problem. Okay, of course your body is going to shut down. The pleasure centers will shut down because you will feel like you are in survival. The energy that I see my clients, and this is what's amazing, is these women are brilliant. We have PhDs, we have run multiple companies, we have saved lives surgeons for a living. Okay, like so fucking capable, brilliant, empathetic. And in their relationships, their energy is high achieving servant. Like, oh, I don't want him to get mad. It's like you just created a technology that's going to help save people, and you just saved 3 lives, and you're scared to tell him. And I know this because I was there. It literally felt like my body would break if I disappointed my partner. I didn't have the tools for a pleasure-centered relationship. I had the tools to be a high-achieving servant. So she's externally accomplished, but internally, she's sexually performing, she's energetically depleted, and she is so fucking overwhelmed and alone. Okay, and this is the woman that systems reward, that get promoted. Okay, it's also the woman that ends up in my office or on a coaching call with me asking, what is wrong with me? And I want to tell you, pleasure-centered sex and pleasure-centered relationships are different. And this is what I'm teaching here. It's two people that want to be there, two people putting in effort. Pleasure for both parties is the metric. Consent, being able to give a full fuck yes and a full fuck no, and to know what you desire, it's a prerequisite. Two people that can regulate their own nervous systems. Two people that know how to fight and know how to fuck. They know how to love each other. Okay, none of us are perfect, but we definitely have been set up to fail, especially as women in heterosexual relationships. We have women who have stopped earning their right to feel good and start receiving pleasure just because we exist, not because of how much we give and how much we provide. So I spent the first decade of my career helping women turn back on, and I'm going to spend the next decade teaching them how to refuse to turn back off inside systems that require them to. So from here on out, we are teaching you how to build pleasure-centered relationships and have pleasure-centered sex. Okay, we're going to be more naming the system, not just the symptom. So, for example, in the past, I'd recommended take yourself out, have a solo date, go for a girls' night. But what happens when that was met with fallout in your relationship? Okay, you came home, the house was a mess, the kids were a screaming disaster, or you were getting the silent treatment from your partner. So we're dealing with the system that we are required to exist in. So we are going to have the same clinical spine, the pink canary framing, the pleasure-centered method, but we're widening our lens. Okay, this is pleasure medicine for women done performing. The arc that we're going to trace, the steps that we are going to take is number one. We're going to decode. We're going to diagnose what's actually happening in your body, in your relationships, and in the systems that you exist in. Number two, we're going to deconstruct. We're going to take apart this conditioning, the coercion, the scripts, the things that are so standard. We've been swimming in this dirty water that we don't know what it's like until we're out of it. And I don't necessarily mean leaving your relationships, but choosing to not play these games. Play shitty games, win shitty prizes. No more. We're going to rewire our nervous systems built for a capacity to receive, not to just over give. And then we're going to design lives organized around pleasure, not around performance, not around your usefulness. So we're going to go from high achieving servant to pleasure-centered receiver. And that is what the next 6 months of episodes is going to be for. And like I said, I have a new book in the works. Not ready to tell you the title yet, but this is the book that I needed to write when I realized that helping women feel pleasure again, helping women feel safe in their bodies again was not enough. If we send them back into the same conditions, back into the same relational systems. So we're going to learn how to play the game. We're going to learn how to heal. We're going to learn how to stay in our power. And if you've been following for a long time, the work's not changing. It's just getting more honest and more powerful. I want you to head to the Pleasure Path Substack. We'll head to the show notes. We'll put the link there. And this is where we're taking deeper action. This is where you're going to have access to handouts and how-tos, starting with the 7-day pleasure challenge. Okay, not a sex challenge. It can lead to better sex challenge. It's 7 days of body-led practices and audios that you can do on your own terms if you have been outsourcing your pleasure and your validation externally. This is where you start. Head to thepleasurepath.substack.com to sign up. This will not be free forever, so do it now.